My skin remembers you long after you leave it, not in a way that is physical or heavy, but in the soft way warmth lingers on a place where a hand once rested. It feels like your presence stays woven into the air around me, like a gentle echo that refuses to fade too quickly, as if kindness has its own memory and refuses to let go. Every time you touch my arm or hold my hand, it's not the moment itself that stays. It's the feeling, the emotion behind it, the intention that settles deeper than I expect. You carry a warmth that doesn't rush away when distance grows. It settles gently into the quietest corners of my heart, reminding me that comfort can be patient. Maybe that's why I find myself thinking of you at unexpected times, not because I miss something dramatic, but because your softness lingers like a quiet light. Even after you step away, my thoughts remember how steady you felt, how safe your presence made the world seem, even for a moment. When you leave, the world doesn't fall silent. It just feels slightly less warm, like a room after the sun slips behind a cloud. I've come to realize that it isn't your touch that stays with me, but the emotion behind it, the gentle intention that carries through your hands and settles under my skin like a slow-burning ember. You have a way of making even a simple moment feel meaningful, like brushing a stray hair from my face or holding my hand for a second longer than necessary. It's in these small gestures that my heart finds something to remember. It isn't grand, it isn't loud, it isn't overwhelming. It's the simplicity that makes it unforgettable. When you walk away, that quiet warmth doesn't vanish. It becomes something I hold close, something I return to when the world feels fast or noisy. It reminds me that kindness can leave an imprint deeper than any dramatic display ever could, and that sometimes the softest touch becomes the one that echoes the longest inside me. There are moments when I catch myself thinking about how you made me feel rather than what you actually did. Your presence has a way of slowing the world down, like a calm breath drawn after holding everything in for too long. When you sit beside me, even the air seems to settle, becoming softer, gentler, almost quieter. And when you leave, the absence isn't sharp. It's a peaceful kind of longing, like remembering a warm blanket that once rested on my shoulders. My skin remembers the kindness in your touch, the sincerity in the way your fingers intertwined with mine, the unspoken warmth that passed between us. It's strange how something so simple can stay so deeply, how a moment that lasted only seconds can echo for hours. Maybe it's because you don't touch with hesitation or carelessness. You touch with intention, with presence, with quiet honesty. And that honesty settles into me like a quiet truth I didn't know I needed, reminding me I'm allowed to feel safe with someone. Sometimes I wonder if you know how gently you move through the world, how your presence never demands attention yet still becomes impossible to ignore. You don't try to captivate, you simply exist with a softness that draws people in without effort. When your hand brushes against mine, you don't grip too tightly or pull away too quickly. You stay in that moment just long enough for warmth to form, enough for my skin to recognize something kind. And when you step back, that memory stays like a whispered reminder of tenderness. I think that's why your absence feels more like a trace than a gap. Not cold, not heavy, just quietly felt. My skin remembers the steadiness of your touch, the calmness that seemed to flow from you without you even realizing it. And in that memory, I find a sense of peace, like knowing that somewhere in this world exists a person who touches not to claim, not to prove, but simply to comfort. That kind of touch leaves the softest, deepest important. There are days when I replay the smaller moments, not the dramatic ones, but the quiet seconds you probably don't even notice. The way your fingers lightly tap my shoulder to get my attention, the way you steady me when I stumble, the way your thumb brushes my knuckles when we walk side by side. These moments are gentle, barely noticeable to anyone else, yet they stay with me longer than they should. They settle into my memory like warm footprints on soft sand, fading slowly but never fully disappearing. My skin remembers that warmth in a way my mind can't always explain, a way that isn't about the physical moment but about the... And when moments grow heavy, you let me glimpse the world through your gentleness, and it changes the way I see everything. With you, even the fading light becomes something meaningful, something that reminds me how love can glow softly without needing to shout its presence. Whenever you hold my face in your hands, I feel something inside me go quiet, not in fear, but in relief, like the world finally stops spinning long enough for me to catch my breath. Your touch is steady, calming, filled with a kind of care that asks for nothing and gives everything. It's not dramatic, not overwhelming, it's simply real. And in those moments, I feel seen in a way I didn't know I needed, to be recognized not just for my strengths, but for my vulnerabilities, the small uncertainties I try to hide. You don't pull away from those parts of me. Instead, you draw closer, offering a comfort that feels both gentle and deeply grounding. I never imagined that another person's touch could make me feel so steady, so centered, so understood without a single word spoken. When you look into my eyes with that quiet intensity, I feel something safe bloom inside me, something that whispers I am enough, that I belong, that I am allowed to exist softly in your presence without fear. If love is a language, then yours is the one my heart has always been trying to learn without knowing it. You speak it softly, through patience, through presence, through the way you make ordinary moments feel meaningful. Being with you teaches me that love doesn't have to be rushed or loud. It can grow slowly, like dawn spreading across the sky, warming everything it touches without demanding anything in return. You kiss me like you're teaching me how to breathe, but you also love me like you're teaching me how to live, how to trust softness, how to let go of fear, how to believe that warmth can stay. When I think of the future, I don't imagine grand scenes or perfect stories. I imagine quiet mornings with you, shared laughter, long conversations, peaceful silences, hands held without hesitation. I imagine a life where love feels like this, gentle, steady, patient, deep. And every time I think of you, my heart whispers the same truth. You're the person who reminded me that breathing, loving, and living are all connected in the most beautiful way.